Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and this is my non-spoiler review of Cobra Kai Season 4. And I thought no better way to do it than right here in the middle of the woods, no distractions, as Daniel would say. So if you have not watched Season 4 yet, or maybe you started watching Season 4 and you haven't finished and you want to hear a review of the season, I watched the whole thing, and I'm going to give my review without giving any spoilers away. So without spoiling anything, I absolutely loved this season. This was probably my favorite season yet. I thought this season did such a great job of integrating every single character and all of the storylines in a very organic way. There were a lot of characters, so it was a little concern of mine how they were going to balance all these different storylines, get a balance. Miyagi-Do, that's the whole theme of the show. So I was wondering, how were they going to balance all these storylines? They only have 10 episodes to tell these stories with all these different characters, not to mention the fact that they're introducing a bunch of new characters such as Terry Silver, Devin, and Kenny. And I have to say, the introduction of these characters, and even Anthony LaRusso, who is a character we already saw in the series but who had a much larger role this season, and I thought each new character added a lot to the original characters and their storylines. For example, Kenny affects Robbie's storyline greatly, and then you have characters like Devin, who affects Johnny's storyline and the Eagle Fang storyline, and then there's Terry Silver, who obviously is affecting the whole Cobra Kai, Kreese. He's affecting everybody pretty much. A big part of the season that we knew was going to happen, but really caught me off guard with how good the actual story was the whole middle school arc. You had the characters like Kenny and Anthony, and they had their own plot line, and I won't spoil what happens there, but they get a lot of attention. And I will say the arcs that they go through are very unexpected, especially Anthony LaRusso, a character who we got a lot of screen time of in Season 1, and then Season 2 he had 2 scenes. Season 3 he only had 1 scene, and it seemed like he was forgotten. This season he has a really great season, but you may be surprised on what they do with this character. He may not be the person who you thought he was, and that's all I'll say with that. Now, the whole plot of this season is the build-up to the All Valley tournament, and at the end we do get the tournament. So before we get to the tournament, which once again, no spoilers, I do want to talk about the lead up to that tournament and how we get there. Let me just say this. What they do with Daniel and Johnny's dojo is absolutely perfection. I thought all the different characters interacting, characters that we've never really seen interact too much. For example, we got some Sam and Johnny interactions, we got Hawk and Daniel, and we got a lot of new Miguel and Daniel interactions, which is what I was really looking forward to. These interactions definitely did not disappoint, and they really added a lot to these characters and these storylines, because Hawk is only used to Johnny's teachings and Kreese's teachings. He's not used to any of Daniel's teachings, but now you have Daniel actually teaching him and spreading his influence. And then you look at a character like Samantha, who's always learned that karate's for defense only, but then she's getting mentored by Johnny Lawrence, who's telling her to bite like an eagle, bite first. All this stuff that she's never learned, that she's not accustomed to. And to see how these kids who are so set in their ways because of their old mentors, now with these new mentors, to see how they balance the two different teachings, to see if they embrace it, if they don't embrace it, and to see if they'll embrace one style or if they'll embrace both styles, I thought was really fascinating. And they definitely set up a lot of this in the beginning of the season, the first half of the season when they're training. It really sets up the fact of what style of karate should I be focusing on? What style of karate works? This is a style I may not be accustomed to, but I'm going to learn this style, and hey, it might surprise me. And then we see at the tournament, it all comes to fruition. We see these different styles that the kids have been learning finally come to use. Then on the other side, we have Cobra Kai, and the big thing is Terry Silver joining the dojo. And without giving anything away, I have to say his arc this season is absolutely amazing. He starts off the season one way and ends the season a completely different way, and the way he gets there, it's just a beautiful 10-episode arc. Every episode, it's a slow progression, and it's just a really, really beautiful story arc for him, and it definitely sets up a really amazing season 5. We know Terry Silver is going to be returning for season 5, and I thought he absolutely stole the show this season. Thomas Ian Griffith, his acting performance was incredible, and his martial arts performance was amazing. The dude is still got it. He had a couple fights this season where he was extremely dominant. Now, at the end of season 3, we knew Daniel and Johnny were going to team up, and we saw Kreese call up Terry Silver to team up with him. So one of the most interesting parts about season 4 is the Kreese and Terry Silver dynamic, because now the two of them have to work together and teach the Cobra Kais in order to win the All Valley tournament. And just like Daniel and Johnny have their issues going on, Kreese and Silver also have some issues of their own, which is inevitable. You're never going to find one person who you're going to completely agree with on everything. Sure, Terry Silver and Kreese may have some of the same beliefs. They both want to win the tournament, but just like Daniel and Johnny, they each have different ways of getting there. And to see their interactions and how they work their differences out and how they come together, it's really, really fascinating, and it's definitely one of the highlights of season 4 for me. Now, with the Cobra Kai kids, no pun intended, we have Robbie, Kyler, Tori, and Kenny. So to see all these kids working under Kreese and Silver, we can definitely see the influence that Silver has on these kids. Robbie has definitely taken a leadership role of the dojo, which I find really cool, because sure, he's a student of Cobra Kai, he's learning under Kreese and Silver, but Robbie actually learned Miyagi-Do. So as we know in the trailer, we saw this in the trailer, so this isn't giving anything new away. In the trailer, we saw Robbie teaching the Cobra Kai students Miyagi-Do, and I found that really fascinating, and I think it definitely adds a lot to the Cobra Kai dynamic, because not only are they learning the offense of Cobra Kai, but they're learning Miyagi-Do defense, and that also comes to fruition in the tournament. There were so many moments this season that made me jump out of my chair. I fell down, I was screaming. There were some characters that came into the show that I didn't expect that came into the show. That's all I'll say. There were moments where I was bawling my eyes out, crying, like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. Really emotionally invested in these characters, and when certain things happen, it really, really just rips you apart. There was a scene in episode 8, at the end of episode 8, I was crying my eyes out. The fight scenes were epic, and there's a whole new dynamic now that Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do or Miyagi Fang are learning all these different techniques, because you have the Eagle Fangs using defense and the Miyagi-Do's using offense, and even the Cobra Kais are learning both offense and defense. So when they're doing all these fights, you're seeing them incorporate all these different techniques, and it's really, really interesting. So, the All Valley Tournament, the 51st annual All Valley Tournament. This is what the whole season is leading up to. Last season, season 3, the whole thing was, we'll settle this at the tournament. We've waited a year for this season, and the big question is, who is going to win the tournament? Well, the thing is, the All Valley Committee Board, we know from the trailer that they were going to make some sort of change that would affect the tournament. And let me tell you, this change is crazy and adds a whole new dynamic. And it definitely affects the dojos, it affects the students competing, and it's really cool to see how things play out. And some of these matches are real shocks, and the outcomes are crazy. I won't tell you what happened. I want to, but I'm not going to tell you what happened. But it's an exciting tournament. the whole tournament, as you're watching, you're on the edge of your feet. This is happening, and the fights are really, really good and entertaining. The students, like these actors, some of them never even knew karate in the past, but they learned so much, and they are really, really, really skilled fighters. And you guys got to see what these guys are doing. They're really, really incredible. So I'm excited for you guys to watch Cobra Kai Season 4. And then the ending, because I will just say this. The ending, like the very last shot, well, the episode 10, you know, obviously it's the tournament, but after the tournament, there's a couple scenes that happen, and it's kind of like the aftermath of the tournament, you know? Just like Season 1, there's a couple scenes that happen, and these scenes are freaking nuts. Like, one thing happens that you're like, what? And then another thing happens and it's like, what? But then the last scene, I was like, wait a second. It was like the last shot. It was like the second to last shot. It was like the reveal of something. And then I was like, bro, I would have never expected this. Like, I thought, okay, it just didn't cross my mind. But it happened. I won't say what, you gotta watch, but it happened, and it was really cool, and it was really crazy, and it sets up Season 5. That's what I'll say. It sets up a freaking dope Season 5. So, that's it for the non-spoiler review. I know I gave you guys a lot without giving you guys anything. Trust me, this review gave away nothing. When you watch this season, there is so much that you guys have to enjoy. Like, there's so much. This review wasn't even any of it. So that was my non-spoiler review of Cobra Kai Season 4. You guys are going to love this season. There are so many shocks and surprises that you guys will not expect. I am telling you. And you are going to love every second of it. Just enjoy the ride. And get binging on Netflix right now, Cobra Kai Season 4. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Cobra Kai Kid and turn on all notifications so you never miss a new video. Hit that like button and share the video with your fellow Cobras, Eagle Fangs, and Miyagi-Dos. I'll see you all next time on Cobra Kai Kid. And until then, remember, Cobra Kai never dies.